I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it before you answer. What is the point of Sendo versus Ricardo? Not as a hype moment, and also not as a chapter you read and went crazy over. I mean structurally. What does Morikawa need this fight to accomplish in the story? Because here's what I think is actually happening. And when you actually see it, every chapter of this arc is going to read completely differently. Sendo is not in that ring to win the WBA Featherweight World Championship. I know, he said he was. He vowed it to his grandmother even. He declared war on Ricardo's face during road work without speaking a single word of Spanish. Just pure murderous intent. He trained until his own coach said his nerves were going to fry before the fight even started. And I'm still telling you, he's not there to win. He's there for something else, for something bigger. And Mori has been hiding the evidence in plain sight this entire time. Sendo's journey to this fight is one of the most well-earned title shots in the manga. Go back, man. He goes to Mexico, he walks into the JC gym, he sees Ricardo in the ring still sparring, and he had I think 3 worn-out sparring partners already done for the day, and instead watching from a safe distance, Sendo asks to get in. Ricardo's own trainer Bill thought this was a bad joke. Ricardo told Bill to stop the spar if he himself got in trouble. Not if Sendo got in trouble, if Ricardo got in trouble. That's how confident he is in every single human being he has ever faced. And then, Sendo knocks Ricardo down. First knockdown of Ricardo Martinez's career, not his professional career, his entire life. Alfredo Gonzalez is literally on his way to the gym trying to accomplish this exact thing. The former number 2 featherweight in the world hoping just to get close. And a Japanese tiger beats him to it before Alfredo even walks through the door. Then Sendo beats Alfredo, earns the title shot the proper way, then spars Ippo the day before his world title fight because of course he does, and walks into the Osaka Joe Hall for chapter 1494, the first time these two stand in the same ring with the referee. The man is built for this is what I'm saying. His entire career has been pointing here. So yes, on the surface, Sendo is trying to win. Now let me show you what's actually underneath. Before the fight even started, Ricardo did something he has never done in 24 world title defenses. He studied. Specifically, he chose Wally as his 23rd title defense knowing full well that Wally was going to be used as a test subject. He wanted the experience of dealing with wildness before facing Sendo. The champion was scared enough of the challenger to run a separate fight just to gather data. Think about this, man. Ricardo has defended the WBA featherweight title 24 times. He fought Gonzalez twice. He fought Dutte twice and dissected him both times. He has never needed to run recon operations. He just shows up and handles it. For Sendo, he ran a warm-up experiment. And on top of that, Ricardo called Miyata to Osaka specifically as a sparring partner. Why Miyata? Because Miyata, the counter-punching outboxer, the OPBF featherweight champion, one of the most technical precise fighters in Japanese boxing, represents a style close enough to be useful. Ricardo wanted to spar Miyata to have more material before he faced Sendo. The most dominant featherweight in the history of this manga is running intelligence operations on a challenger. And nobody asked the obvious follow-up question. If Ricardo is gathering intelligence on Sendo, has Sendo been doing the same thing? And have a look at this. Chapter 1279, a spar on the roof. Sendo comes to Ippo, specifically to Ippo, not to his coach, not to tape analysis, to Ippo, to get information about Alfredo Gonzalez before their fight. Because Ippo felt Alfredo's punches firsthand and Sendo wants the visceral description of what it's like. The angles, the timing, the quality. And Ippo puts on the gloves and demonstrates. He throws a punch hard enough to knock the mid clean off Sendo's hands. A retired Ippo holding mid sends the then number 2 ranked featherweight in the world stumbling backwards. Sendo filed that away, won the Alfredo fight and then kept filing things away. Ippo goes to Mexico to watch Sendo fight Alfredo. He's there as support but also for studying. And then before the King vs Tiger fight, Sendo's final sparring session is with Ippo. Not his own gym sparring partners, not Hoshi who has been getting beaten up daily to keep Sendo sharp, and also not Miyata who just finished like 5 days sparring with Ricardo for the other side. Ippo, the retired fisherman with the alleged punch-drunk syndrome. That is the man Sendo chose as his final tune-up before the biggest fight of his life. If Sendo is going in there to win a title, that is a weird choice. Ippo is not a world title caliber opponent right now in any official capacity. Unless Sendo was not tuning up for Ricardo. Unless Sendo was reminding himself what Ippo feels like. Okay, chapter 1507. comeback knuckles. By this point in the fight, Sendo has been taking Ricardo's motionless jabs on an open face. He's been targeting Ricardo's forearm specifically. The same forearm numbing strategy he ran against Gonzalez confirmed working when Ricardo's right arm goes numb. In chapter 1507, Sendo is in trouble. He's been taking damage. Right now, Ricardo's handling him, and Sendo needs to find something. And here's what he's reaching for. He is in a world title fight against the greatest featherweight who has ever lived. He is getting hit by a man who has never lost. And the thing Sendo uses to reignite himself, the thing that gives him the courage to crack his knuckles and go back in, is Ippo. He compares the feeling of Ippo's power to Ricardo's. And from that comparison, he finds what he needs to keep going. Look man, just think about it again. Sendo is in a world title fight. At that specific moment, he is losing. And the thing that revives him is a retired fisherman watching from the audience. It's not the belt, neither it is his grandmother, and it's not the pride as an animal tiger. It's Ippo, man. Makunochi Ippo, currently employed as a second and on a fishing boat. I don't know what to tell you. Morikawa named the chapter Comeback Knuckles, and the comeback is powered by the memory of a touch spar in Osaka. If that doesn't tell you what this fight is really about, I don't know what will. Chapter 1515, Loneliness at the Top. Sendo throws the smash. Ricardo throws the counter. Both seem to land simultaneously. Ricardo goes down. And in that moment, in the final flash before the canvas, Sendo is thinking about Ippo giving him Wally's message, leaving the rest up to him. The chain of fists. Wally to Sendo, and beyond Sendo back to Ippo. But here's what I want to talk about again. Ricardo's reaction. When Ricardo gets back up, when the round ends and he walks to his corner, the manga says he feels relieved. Relieved, man. Not angry and not embarrassed, not shocked that someone finally knocked him down after 36 years of clean record in real life. Relieved. Because someone who can reach the solitary has finally appeared. Ricardo has been alone at the top of this sport his entire career. Nobody reaches him. Nobody gets close enough to feel like a real opponent. He has been fighting in a vacuum. And for the first time, the very first time, someone put him on the canvas and he felt kinship. He felt seen. And this is so cold, man. The person Ricardo is being measured against isn't Sendo. The person every fighter in Ricardo's orbit keeps coming back to is Ippo. Bill confirmed to Ricardo that Sendo, Alfredo, and Tate all had brutal matches with a boxer named Ippo. And Ricardo reflects that despite Ippo's world ranking disappearing, he keeps hearing that name, as if the Dempsey role wielder has the world revolving around him. Sendo knocks Ricardo down. Ricardo feels relief, and the gravity pulling everyone back to center is someone who hasn't fought professionally in years. If Sendo wins this fight, you know what this means? Ippo has no final opponent. Every single thing the retirement arc has been building, all of it has been pointed at one fight. Ippo versus Ricardo, the thesis of this entire manga. Sendo winning would end that arc. It collapses Ippo's endgame. You cannot have Ippo come back for a world title fight against a champion who doesn't exist anymore because Sendo already took the belts. Morikawa is not doing that. He has spent 37 years engineering this story to land in one specific place. Sendo is not winning. And I believe, and this is the part where I'm asking you to go with me, that on some level Sendo understands this. Of course not consciously. Sendo would never think like that. But on the instinctual level his coach describes when he talks about him shaving away his humanity to return to pure wildness. Sendo's wildness can smell what's above him and what's below him. And what's above everyone in this story, above Sendo, above Ricardo, above every ranked featherweight on the planet is the guy he chose as his final sparring partner. Sendo knows what he is. He's always known. So what happens when this fight ends? Sendo goes, let's say 12 rounds. He numbs Ricardo's arm, he makes Ricardo bleed, he puts him on the floor in round 4, he forces Ricardo to show every tool in the box in a way 24 previous challengers could never force him to do. And then Sendo loses, and he comes home. And when he sits across from Ippo, which he will, everything transfers. Not as a strategy though, not as a scouting report, but as a feeling. Sendo is not a strategic boxer, he's a sensory one. What he felt in that ring for however many rounds this fight goes is the most detailed physical map of Ricardo Martinez that has ever been created. Not from tape or from analysis, from standing in front of the man and forcing him to open up. Miyata tried to drag the public spar out as long as possible to help his fellow Japanese. He managed a few rounds. Sendo might go the full distance. The information that comes back from those 12 rounds, the adjustments Ricardo makes when he's hurt, the specific way his arm recovers from the numb, what his footwork looks like when he's genuinely threatened, the information belongs to Ippo. It was always going to belong to Ippo. Sendo went in as a probe. He just didn't put it in those words because Sendo does not use words like that. The most expensive recon mission in the history of boxing manga. That's what the King vs. Tiger arc is. Sendo fought Ricardo to measure the distance, to find the wall, to force the final boss of this manga to open up in ways he has never had to open up before, and to come home with 12 rounds of physical memory that can only be transferred to one person. Chapter 1507 is called Comeback Knuckles, and in that chapter Sendo finds his courage by thinking about the power in Ippo's retired fists. The chapter title is not only about Sendo's comeback, it's about whose knuckles are really coming back. One more thing before I go, there's a third party who made a 16-minute video about the recent drama situation. I won't say his name, I'll keep it brief because it doesn't deserve more than that. First, I didn't start any of this. I never mentioned this or that creator in a single video, not one. They mentioned me. I responded, and I damn sure don't go on live streams gossiping about other creators like girls from Manhattan. Now, the one actual point he made, that the videos I described weren't literally released weekly, fine, that's fair. It was a figurative timeline, as in, if you put those videos side by side in a row, that is the pattern you see. That's what the sentence means, and if you cannot grasp basic grammar and then want to lecture someone about intellectual dishonesty, maybe start there. And while we are at it, the copying accusations. I didn't copy anything. He said I'm copying his thumbnails. Yeah, bro, you're the first one to invent red letters on a white background. Absolute genius. Thomas Edison over here. Do you know who I got my inspiration from in the beginning? You wanna know? Because I know damn well you know him as well. Think it's you? No. Uh-oh. And what about this? Does this look familiar? Wait a minute. Looks like an exact match. And looky, more. This fine gentleman is the Masked Man, and it's clear you took inspiration from him. The exact template I was accused of copying was already being run from someone else. Didn't think the receipts went both directions, did you? Talking about innovations as if you invented a style. Thumbnails just look similar after a trend develops, no need to hate the hustle. He then spends the rest of his video talking about my ego, my arrogance, how I position myself as superior. And then, in the same video, he calls himself in third person one of the few people in this community who can really pull these videos off. He listed his boxing medals, national championships, international wins, his degree, mon chéri, from a French university, which is his second language, while calling me arrogant. Look, man, I've sparred fighters who were preparing for the Olympics. They never once talk like that, never. And if the person he's defending has publicly admitted to using the same title format he criticized me for, and he has, then what exactly is this video for? You don't get to defend someone for something they already admitted doing and then act like you've exposed something. You just look like you're trying to get a minute of fame after not posting for 3 weeks. He compared me to Wolf Kanaguchi, the fighter who thought he was unbeatable until he met his match. He said I want to be Takamura, but Takamura would never do what I did. Slow reading comprehension in a video about reading comprehension. Takamura would react exactly like I did. The man was banned from Twitter within a single day. And just think about his post-fight speeches. The crowd throws popcorn at him after he defends his belt, after he wins, and he loves it. Your community reacting the way they are right now in my comments is the same crowd throwing popcorn at Takamura. You just proved my point for me. Read the character, man. And yes, he is right that boxing experience is not unique to me. He's an active boxer. I respect that, genuinely. Anyone who steps into a ring and risks their health for the sport has my respect. No conditions. And bro, post more of your boxing journey, I'd watch that. But stay in your lane on this one. Let the men fight their own battles. And for the sake of my viewers, don't go over there for the sake of drama. Don't pay attention to this back and forth. Even if they leak a picture of me wiping my ass on the toilet, this topic is forever closed. Back to the manga and I'll see you in the next one.